Ron Yob and Desna Kaza. Gichi Bawatin and Dojaba, Mashika Odam, Ogama, Gichi Bawatin, Ogawa. Right, my name is Ron Yob, and I come from Grand Rapids, and I'm the chairman of the Grand River Bands of Ottawa Indians. Well, if you look at a lot of the roads that come into Grand Rapids, a lot of them come in diagonally, like Butterworth, Chicago Drive, Plainfield Avenue, Lake Drive, Walker Avenue, and they come in at a not north and south direction. They lead right to approximately where the Grand Rapids Museum is right now, and those are all Indian trails. If you were to follow them out, they would lead you to Muskegon, to Mount Pleasant, to Gun Lake Tribe, to the Huron Tribe, to the Pokagon Tribe, and they also kind of look like a web that leads to the center of Grand Rapids. This was the metropolis of native people for hundreds and hundreds of years before the non-natives had come into these roads in this area. If you study environmental issues, the rapids regenerate the water, and it's probably the purest area of the river. It's the everything was here for us in this area. The food, material for shelters, medicines. This was it. This was the hot spot. There were two villages right in this community hundreds of years ago, and even thousands of years ago, as exhibited by the Indian mounds that are down here. It was actually a treaty signed in Grand Rapids in 1855. It was the last of our treaties with the federal government, and it was signed in 1855, July 31st, but it was actually taken back to Washington and corrected and grammar, spelling, and things like that. And in 1856, July 31st, it was brought back to Grand Rapids and was signed by our Grand River chiefs right here along the banks of the river. Well, the river was our highway. It led us to the other 19 bands. Grand River had there were 19 villages along the Grand River from here to Jackson, Michigan, and towards Grand Haven. And it was a southern boundary for that 55 treaty. Also, the 36 treaty, it was a southern boundary for. It was just our home. The 55 treaty provided grounds for removal of us from this area, and it was supposed to begin in increments, but unfortunately the Civil War came along and it kind of changed the mode of the federal government as far as removal. A lot of our people were removed to Mason, Oceana, Muskegon County, but a lot of them came back. It's kind of like the salmon, they you could take them out and kick them out, but they'll come back. Even elephants, deers, they'd come back. The people wanted to lay their graves alongside the graves of their ancestors, which are in this community. So a lot of them migrated back into this community. We have, and then it actually went backwards again, because the people from other tribes, as their tribes became, their status became reaffirmed with the federal government, they moved back to their home reservations. But our people in Michigan, we're all kind of mixed up, where we can be part of several different tribes, and you don't marry within your clan, so you're gonna have, like, I have Saginaw Chip in me, and I also have a little bit of Little Traverse in me, but I've always been told that in Grand River, our family Bibles and stuff have roll numbers and names of ancestors and things that always will lead us to this area. It just shows the resiliency of the people, that even through all the efforts of forces to remove us and take us away from this area, we're still a strong force here, and we still have children, grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren that are residing along here. So we're going to be here for a few more generations yet.